Welcome to the light, and today we're going to shed light on the Guthrie Ransom Imposter Derrick Callella. Now, this morning we heard from the Pima County Sheriff's press conference that we would be hearing about this arrest that was going to be made and that the criminal complaint was going to be released. Now, I do have that criminal complaint here. It is very short. I will read it because it does give us all the details of this case. Now, today, which is Thursday, February 5th, 2026, Derrick was arrested by the FBI in Hawthorne, California, and charged via this criminal complaint that I will get to that is being filed in federal court for transmitting a demand for ransom in interstate commerce and without disclosing his identity, utilizing a telecommunications device with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass a person. It is being said by the U.S. Attorney Timothy, the Department of Justice will protect victims and families at all costs, and grief profiteers will be held accountable. This case came together in under 24 hours because of the coordinated work of the FBI, local law enforcement, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California. To those imposters who are trying to take advantage and profit from the situation, we will investigate and ensure you are held accountable for your actions, said FBI Phoenix Special Agent in Charge Heath Jenke. Now, per policy, the FBI stated that they do not release booking photos. However, I did find his social media and his, I don't know if it's a band or he's a solo artist, but I will give you a little taste of what he does briefly, and then we're going to get directly into this criminal complaint. And after the criminal complaint, I will share some more information about who Derrick actually is. Okay, let's get into this criminal complaint. This is against Derrick, and he was born in 1983. And count one says that on or about February 4th, 2026, defendant Derrick Callella, with the intent to transmit a demand for ransom, did transmit in interstate foreign commerce any communication containing any demand or request for a ransom or reward for the release of any kidnapped person in violation of Title 18. Now, count two is on or about February 4th, 2026, defendant Derrick Callella in interstate or foreign communications made a telephone call and utilized a telecommunications device, whether or not conversation or communication ensues, without disclosing his identity and with intent to abuse, threaten, or harass any specific person in violation of Title 47. Now, the next part of this is going to be the basis of the complaint's charge against the accused Derrick. The disappearance of NG, which would be Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie was last seen inside her residence in the Catalina Foothills community outside Tucson, Arizona on January 31st, 2026. Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old woman with mobility issues that likely preclude her from walking long distances unassisted. On the morning of February 1st, 2026, a friend of Nancy Guthrie's contacted the victim's family and notified them that Nancy Guthrie had not attended church that morning. At approximately noon on February 1st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie's family entered her residence and determined that she was missing and reported her disappearance to law enforcement. Law enforcement arrived shortly thereafter and determined that Nancy Guthrie had left basic essentials inside her home, including her wallet, car, cell phone, hearing aid, and medication. Nancy Guthrie's blood was found on the outside of her residence near her porch. On February 2nd, 2026, KOLD, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona, received a ransom demand via their online tip portal. The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet address to receive the ransom payment. On February 4th, 2026, Nancy Guthrie's family published a video asking Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers to contact them about their mother. Now moving on to counts 1 and 2. On or about February 4th, 2026, shortly after the video was published, AC and TC, so those initials would stand for Annie Cioni and Tommaso Cioni. So we have heard Annie as Annie Guthrie, but it would be her husband's last name, Cioni. The daughter and son-in-law of Nancy Guthrie both separately received a text message from the following phone number stating, "Did you get the Bitcoin? We're blank waiting on our end for the transaction." Now, Annie and Tommaso received these texts while in Arizona. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the 0552 number was associated with a voice over internet protocol text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. Now, law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the 0552 number. Based on the records provided for the 0552 number, was registered to the following email address. And I have that, but I'm not going to say that. The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been accessed from the following IP address, and they're going to refer to it as a 103 IP address, at approximately 6:02 p.m. on February 4th, 2026. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request to the internet provider for the 103 IP address and determined that the 103 IP address was associated with Callella's residence in California. After Miranda warnings, Callella admitted to sending the 2 text messages. He admitted to using the VoIP account from which 2 actual text messages came from. Callella stated that he pulled family information from a cyber website and that he had been following along and watching TV. When he said that he sent text messages, he was trying to see if the family would respond. Data received shows that approximately 3 minutes after the text messages, Callella called a family member of Nancy Guthrie, which lasted 9 seconds. The 2 text messages have not been linked to the February 2nd, 2026 ransom demand. So that is an important detail here. This is not connected to the original ransom that was sent to the station, to TMZ, to all of that. This is Derrick essentially trying to benefit off of that ransom letter that made the news and get a Bitcoin payday off of this. Now, Derrick is expected to make an initial appearance in a downtown LA federal court tomorrow, February 6th, 2026. The new charges against him were filed in Arizona. Now, this is not the first time that Derrick has been in trouble. He is recently a part of a mass fraud bust in Los Angeles. According to a recent case in Los Angeles County, it involved 13 employees who were accused of stealing over $430,000 in unemployment benefits. As somebody who lives in Los Angeles, rude. Callella allegedly stole $9,984 in unemployment benefits between May 6th, 2020 and January 20th, 2022. He was listed as being a Department of Health Services intermediate clerk. Now, specific maximum penalties for these federal charges were not listed in the initial reports of his arrest, and I honestly am not aware of what that entails. But these charges do carry significant prison time. And what is really sad about that is, from what I could see on his social media, is he does have a wife and he does have a very young daughter. So it's incredibly selfish that he could not even think of his own family when he went about doing this, which this in and of itself is incredibly disgusting and gross. and horrendous. I mean, all the things. To be watching this play out on the news and your mind goes to, maybe I should look it up and see if I can exploit this situation. While pretty much everybody else who is watching this situation unfold is praying for this woman to be returned home, to be safely found, is upset, is saddened, is hoping, is feeling helpless. This guy was sitting there going, how can I exploit them? It is disgusting. I am so glad that the authorities were very quick and on top of this. The fact that they were able to connect these dots and get on this and arrest him so fast is absolutely incredible. And it does send the message that don't mess with it. Do not try to play this game. The other thing that it does not help is that this does take away resources. While it does appear that there are plenty of resources accessible to this case at this time, which is amazing, it does take away resources. And now so many people are affected by his actions. To try to say that you just wanted to see if the family would respond is absolutely crazy to me. I just can't wrap my brain around it. And when I think of that, I think it's just like when things are so out there, it's normal because we can't understand anybody thinking that it's okay to do something like that because we're a normal human being, that's not okay. That's why we don't understand it. But yeah, this is Derrick Callella from Hawthorne, California. He is in custody. He will be charged. He will be held accountable for his actions, and he has admitted to doing it after he was read his Miranda. However, I hope we can put this to rest and just refocus our efforts on hoping that we can bring Nancy home. Please make sure that you're following me for updates on many cases that I cover on my channel. I really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. And whatever happens in the dark will always come to the light.